2 years ago, I started making jewelry. What actually happened was something I did not see coming, and I am still in the messy middle of it.
Today's story is about the year the universe decided that subtlety wasn't working anymore. It's 2021. We have all just been through COVID. My partner, Zach, and I spent most of that year cooped up in our Philadelphia apartment. I think I dissociated for most of that. I remember almost nothing from that year. But I do know one thing. Our dog, Oliver, got me through that year. He was my soul dog. If you've ever had a soul dog, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. He was the reason that I got outside twice a day, no matter what. Oliver needed to go outside, so twice a day, no matter what, we got out the house. Then vaccines arrived in the spring of 2021, and we head to the Poconos, which is a small mountain town about 2 hours outside of Philadelphia, to visit our in-laws and to get our vaccines. Oliver loved the mountains. He would spend his days patrolling the perimeter, endless sniffs, so many twigs to play fetch with, although of course Oliver didn't really play fetch, did he? No, it was more like, Mom, throw the stick and then chase me. But still, he loved it. He was 13, a Shepherd Lab mix, a very large dog, like 90 pounds, and he was having health issues. And I had taken him to the vet so many times that previous year that they actually started making fun of me when I would bring him in. But I knew my dog, and I knew something was wrong. We got to the Poconos. First week is great. Oliver is so happy. But then he steadily started to decline. He lost his appetite entirely. So we find a vet in the Poconos and we take him there. They actually do scans of the dog and they're like, oh, your dog has cancer all over every major organ in his body. And it's been that way for a while. Fucking Philadelphia. After that, his health really dives down. We have to give him medications to force him to eat. He couldn't hold himself up to go to the bathroom. So he would lean forward and his knees would practically be touching the ground as he would go to the bathroom. He stopped being able to do stairs. So Zach and I brought a mattress down. We laid it in the kitchen so we could all sleep together. My mother-in-law has a black cat named Sal who had always been enamored by Oliver. We think it was that Sal was a black cat and Oliver was a black dog and they had a little thing. By the time we booked someone to come out to the Poconos to put Oliver down, Sal was spending every night watching guard over Oliver. We got our vaccines on April 11th and Oliver passed exactly 1 week later. It was like his job was to get us through COVID. And once that job was done, he finally let go. Little did we know, not only did he help us close out the year of COVID, he was helping us close out our entire chapter in Philadelphia. Because after he passed, everything changed. With our vaccines and with no Oliver, we made our way back to Philadelphia. And our condo felt wrong without him there. I had spent the last 5 years steadily decorating this condo, but there was one piece that I had always wanted to get that I couldn't get while we had a big fluffy black dog living with us. And it was a white faux fur rug. So I finally bought the faux fur rug. I put it down on the ground. And I remember having this moment of like, the apartment's finally complete. 1 week later, the condo caught fire. It was a Tuesday in May. I was still asleep in bed. Zach would always wake up before me. And I hear yelling. And my first thought is that I'm annoyed. Like, I'm trying to sleep here, bro. But the yelling doesn't stop. And I'm still kind of annoyed. And so I say, what? And then I hear Zach, clear as day, say, the loft is on fire. And I'm like, what? So I run down in my pajamas. And indeed, there are these huge flames flying up from the loft. And Zach is up on the loft with a fucking rug trying to put out the flames. And I'm just in shock. I'm dumbstruck. Like, I'm not even awake yet. I can't compute what's happening here. And then I see Zach go and take a really big lift with the rug to try and smash the flames down. And as he brings the rug down, whoosh, the flames erupt. They were even bigger, touching the ceiling. And all of a sudden, it is pouring rain in our apartment. Just buckets and buckets of water coming in from the ceiling because he had set off the sprinkler system. And the good news is that the sprinkler system put out the fire pretty quickly, but then the sprinkler system doesn't go off. And we are standing there, and the water in our apartment is at our toes. And then it's at our ankles. And then I'm standing there in water in my 5th floor apartment, calf deep in water. And by the time the fire department arrived, we've lost, I don't know, a third of our belongings. And I am standing there shivering in my pajamas as investigators are standing there pressuring me to try and admit that I am the one that started the fire. I wasn't. The dog died in April. The fire was in May. It is now June. We are staying in temporary housing in northern Philadelphia while our condo gets rebuilt. And we're actually really enjoying the neighborhood. We're in this apartment. It's a brand new build. It's really spacious. There's lots of natural light. The neighborhood is lovely. And for the first time since we moved into our condo 5 years prior, Zach and I actually start talking about maybe it's time for a change. Maybe we move, We had never had that conversation before. One evening, Zach is working from home and his desk is in the basement and it faces a window that is like an egress in case of emergency. It starts raining and then it starts pouring and then it's a flash flood and Zach is standing there watching in horror as the window in front of him just starts filling up with water. And then the window starts creaking. And it's like, that scene in the Titanic where you see this shot down the hallway and you know that the Titanic is filling up with water and you hear everything start creaking and groaning. And at any second, it's just going to burst open with water. It was like that. And then sure enough, whoosh, water just comes flooding in through the window. And we're like frantic and we're grabbing towels and we're trying to stop it up with the towels. And then once things get a little bit under control, we're calling the owner and trying to figure everything out. And it was insane. It was insane. And once again, we lost a bunch of our property. Over the summer, the temporary unit that we were in flooded not once, not twice, 3 times. Yeah. So we move again. The building owners set us up with another one of their units in another building down the street. So we are in temporary housing. And while they're fixing up the unit that we were in, they're like, yeah, just, leave most of your belongings here. It's only going to be a couple weeks. It'll be fine. And then you'll be able to move back into the original spot. We take our essentials and we move it into the temporary location. And then the first location, we pile all of our belongings into the bedroom. And I personally put a bunch of towels around the door of the bedroom so that I would know if anybody tried to enter the bedroom. A few weeks later, we go back to check in on the first unit. And when we walk in, there's trash everywhere. And it's a little odd, but also I know there have been workers in there. So it's okay. We go downstairs to the bedroom and I see that the towels have been moved. My adrenaline kicks up and we open the door and there are papers everywhere. They went through our financial documents. They stole our credit cards. They stole my engagement ring. They even stole leggings. Not all of my clothes, but just the leggings. It was weird. And we had a bag that was full of some of Oliver's fur that I guess they thought was valuable, and they tore it open and they just left his fur all over the floor. The person clearly knew that the owners weren't home because they went into our fridge and ate a bunch of popsicles and were just tossing the popsicle wrappers and the popsicle sticks on the ground like a bunch of breadcrumbs. And then later we found out that the contractor rebuilding our condo from the fire stole $15,000 from us. The guy who was helping us rebuild our old life stole from us. At this point, we made plans to go on a road trip. No destination in mind, no time frame. We didn't know if we'd come back to Philly or just end up someplace entirely new. We just knew that the universe was telling us go, like a swift kick in the butt. We spent some time in Vermont. We went to a wedding in New York. And then we did have to come back to Philly to close out a few things with the condo. And I remember one day I drove into the city, did some errands, got back in my car. I'm about to leave the city and my car won't start. And I just put my head on the steering wheel. I was like, oh my God. And I looked up at the sky and I said, I get it. Your message has been utterly, clearly received. We are not staying in Philadelphia. We are leaving. We are here for 2 more weeks, closing out some stuff for the condo, and then we are gone. And I sat there and I waited 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes. And then the car started. And we had no more issues with the car after that. At this point, it was undeniable. Philly was unceremoniously, without question, kicking us out. So we left. I'm Carolina. This is Strawberry Lightning, and I will see you next time on the road.